Lovelies, welcome back to the Mantra Movements YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing splits in the sand. I'm going to teach you how to get your full split in a way that is safe and also easy. This video is for people who have never had their full splits before. I want to teach you how to do it in a way that increases your mobility and flexibility steadily and safely. So welcome. This is a public beach, so you're going to see people coming back and forth throughout the video. You get to people watch while we are strengthening and lengthening those muscles. And full disclosure, I actually had an injury on my right leg, so I am getting my splits again. So in this video, I'm showing you a tried and true way of getting your splits in a safe way, especially as I navigate healing from an injury. So this is going to be one of the first times that I'm getting back into my splits. So I don't have my full splits yet, but I have before, and this is how I'm safely doing it, even after healing from an injury. All right, let's get into it.
We're starting with a yoga-inspired warm-up. Follow along. Inhale the arms above the head and then bend at the waist all the way down to touch your toes. Half lift by touching your knees and coming to a straight back. Then step both feet back to a full plank and lower slowly all the way to the ground. Push up to upward dog and then tuck your toes and come to downward dog. Now we're going to step forward and do that whole sequence again 3 times. Follow along. Inhale the arms above the head. Exhale all the way down to a forward fold. Half lift with your hands on your knees. Step back into a full plank. You can also put your knees on the floor for support. And lower. Push up. Tuck the toes. Downward dog. And then we're starting again, stepping forward and inhaling the arms above the head. We're doing this warm-up to make sure that we are keeping our muscles super safe during these split stretches. You never want to stretch any part of your body without at least a little bit of a warm-up. So even if you don't like a yoga warm-up, you can do jumping jacks, mountain climbers, high knees, a plank hold, anything to put heat in the body so that you are not stretching the muscles cold. And this not only prevents injury, but it also helps you get deeper into these stretches so you can truly see progress and actually see where your body is and what it needs when you are warming it up. Excellent job, y'all. Make sure you're breathing through each of these poses. Lower with control. Push up. Tuck the toes to downward dog. We're stepping forward and we have one more rotation of the sun salutation. Inhale up. Exhale all the way down. Let that head hang. Half lift to the knees. Step back into full plank. Remember, those knees can go to the floor for support. Exhale down. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale to downward dog. And then walk those feet forward. This time we're going to stay in that forward fold. Let that head hang heavy and bend the knees if you need to. To deepen the hamstring stretch for the back of our legs here, we are going to lightly and slowly step on each of our fingers. Take the tips of your fingers, and step on them with the tips of your toes, and you're really gonna feel it in those hamstrings. If ever throughout any of our stretches today you feel a sharp pain or pinch, slowly come out of that stretch and adjust as needed, and I will verbally and physically offer different modifications throughout. Untuck the fingertips and roll up slow, with the head being the last thing to come up. And you're warm. Good job, y'all. Come to the long ways on the mat and we're going to get into the hip and hamstring stretches that are going to help us get those splits. The first one, we're coming wider than your feet think they need to be. Scoot them out a little bit more. And look here how my elbows are on the inside of each knee, pressing those knees out. Think of that butt going down and back so that you're not pressing all of your weight forward into your knees. And feel free to put your hands down here as I did for support. Once you are ready, come to a forward fold, and we're going to bend and straighten those knees in this wide forward fold to keep that heat going, but also to increase our mobility and flexibility at the same time. Breathe. Now come to your right foot, and the left knee is going to be bending and straightening. You should feel this on the insides of your hips, perhaps your groin or your inner thighs, and still the hamstrings as well. Rotate to the other side, bend and straighten. Make sure that you're tracking that knee over the toes as you're bending and straightening. Let the head relax, no tension in the head, neck, or shoulders. Now come back to center. Deep stretch one more time in that center position, forward fold. Breathe. Option to grab the backs of your ankles, your toes, the backs of your knees, whatever feels good for you as you deepen this stretch. See if you can go deeper than you did just moments ago. And when you're ready, roll up slow, again with the head, the last thing to come up. Now we're going to come to the floor. Come to all fours with me. This can be long ways on the mat. And we're going to step our left foot forward and do our first lunge. We're going to do quite a few lunges during this series because it helps us with our hips and hamstrings. Think of pushing those hips forward, and you can have your hands on your knees, on the sides of your ankles, whatever feels good for you. On the knees is a more intense stretch because you're using the weight of your upper body to get those hips in check. Now slowly fold those hips back as you straighten that front leg and flex the foot for a deeper stretch. If the flex is painful, just relax it. Now we're going to rotate from the forward lunge to the hamstring stretch 3 times. That's 1. Forward lunge. Back to the hamstring stretch. That's 2. Again, we're doing dynamic stretches or stretches that have movement so that we are staying warm but also increasing our mobility of our joints, not just the flexibility of our muscles. Now switch to the other leg. We're on our right leg now, and we're going to hold that forward lunge for a moment. Again, remembering that your hands can be on the sides of your feet. It can be on your knees for a deeper stretch, and those hips are pushed forward. Now slowly come back. We're going to hold this hamstring stretch for a moment, flexing your foot for a deeper hamstring stretch. And now we're going to move into our rotation, forward lunge to the hamstring stretch 3 times. Take your time and move on your own timing. It's up to you. I'm moving a little quicker on this leg. That's 2. And then 1 more. Forward lunge, take those hips back to the hamstring. Good job, y'all. Now let's come to our sideways on the mat again. We're going to get deeper into those hips with what's called a half frog. So our leg is to the side, and I'm also going to give you a different camera angle on this stretch. You're going to place your hands in the front, and you're going to rock forward and backwards with this stretch. You should feel it on the inner thigh and the hips. And make sure that you're adjusting your foot in a way that works for your hip placement, okay? It should be slightly in front of you. And we're just rocking forward and backwards. Breathing with every single stretch we do, y'all. The breath is so important. Breathe into where it feels tight. Now switch legs, remembering that that foot should be slightly in front of you, not directly to the side of you. Using the hands to guide you, moving forward and back. The hands also contribute to helping how much weight you're putting into the stretch. If it's too intense, you can put more weight into your hands. If it's not intense enough, take some weight away. Now we're going to do full frog. Take those knees far, far, far away, and look at my toes here. They can be further apart, or I can bring them in closer together. The closer they are, the less intense the stretch. The further away your toes are, the more intense the stretch is. So listen to your body and play around with different angles of this stretch. You see the side view here as well. We're rocking forward and backwards on your own timing. You can go deep back with the hips. You can come forward, because again, we are increasing our mobility in those hips as well as the flexibility of all those muscles. Breathe through it. This is one of the most intense stretches for me, y'all. So I take deep breaths and come out of it when you are ready. We're coming to a seat now. We have just a few more stretches until we get to the actual star of the show, the splits. This is going to help us with our glutes and our hips. We're taking one ankle to the opposite knee and pulling that knee towards us. The closer your planted foot is to you, the more intense this stretch is. So if it's too intense, then put that foot away. As you see me pointing, if it's less intense, then you can scoot it closer to you for a deeper stretch if you're not feeling it. And you can rock side to side to get different angles of the glute and of the hip. And again, remembering to adjust that standing foot in order to either intensify or de-intensify, if that's a word, the stretch. Make it less intense. Switch legs. Ankle to the knee, and remembering to scoot that other foot in or out to adjust based on your body's needs. And rock side to side with the stretch in order to get different angles. Stretching the glutes and the hips is so important for a split stretch. We want to get all the different aspects of our lower body because they truly all work together. If you have a knee problem, it's probably something to do with your feet and ankles. If you have a lower back problem, then it's probably something to do with the knees. Everything's so connected. So we're getting all the different angles of our lower body. Untuck. And now we're coming to our final lunges before our splits. Take that right foot forward, and you're gonna walk the toes, heel toe out to the outside of the mat. And both hands are gonna be on the inside of the mat. If you feel that and that's enough, that's cool. If you want to, you can come down to your forearms for a deeper hip stretch, as I am here. And also listen to what your body needs. For me, my right hip has more flexibility, and so I'm able to go down here, but you'll see on my left side, I can't go down to both forearms. So listen to your body and what it needs on both sides. Come up and untuck and switch to the left leg lunge, heel toeing all the way to the outside of the mat, and either staying on those hands or taking it down to your elbows or your forearms. You see me struggling here, y'all? See, that's because I wasn't listening to my body. And then I came back up to those hands. No forearms for me today on the left side. Breathe through it. And untuck when you are ready. And now we can drum roll the do because you are at the finale, the reason we're here, the splits. If you'd like, you can pause this video and grab 2 pillows or yoga blocks to support you throughout the actual split stretches. Here are 4 examples of how people can use them at different levels, ankles, and positions of the body. If not, go ahead and slide into the lunge as if you're doing your hamstring stretch and go all the way down. Using your arms, your hands to support you. And you're going to make sure that back leg is not sickling. I'm putting an emphasis on that to make sure that you're not tucking your toes inward or tucking your knee inward, twisting it in a funny way. Make it as straight as possible. And I take different angles of the stretch here by opening to the side. You see me raising my hand here to get different angles so that each hip starts to get the muscle memory of being in that deep split stretch. And when you're ready, you can untuck and get ready for the other side. Make sure you're breathing, y'all. I've been telling y'all the whole time. Lunge on the right foot and slide as if you're going into the hamstring stretch and come down to where you can, using the pillows or your hands on the floor to guide you. Keep the torso up as far as it can be. You put extra strain on that front leg if you are too far forward with your torso. As you can see on this side, I am much less into the ground. This was my injury side, so I'm not as far along back into the splits, but that's why we're working. That's why we're here. Breathe through it and remember that you can rock side to side as I am here to get different angles of that stretch and get that muscle memory going. Breathe for a little while longer. You're almost there. And untuck. Great job, y'all. Thank you so much for taking time to stretch with me. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.